question, if you elaborate a little bit more on about relationships between segregated schools, our high taxes, and how we think, because I don't hear a lot of people talk about that relationship between, and the number of school districts that New Jersey has, which is very different than a lot of other states. How would you go about addressing the issue of those relationships between segregation, the high taxes, and the number of school districts in the state of New Jersey? And I heard you mention something about the magnet schools and things like that, which you don't find very often here in Southern New Jersey.
I'm actually glad that you put it this way, because that goes back to what I was saying, that God made our problems, everybody's problems. Segregation is killing New Jersey. It is making it too expensive. We have more school districts than we have cities, so there are more superintendents than actually mayors. We have more cities than California, which is 8 times the size of New Jersey, right? We have too many cities because people are trying to separate themselves from each other. This home rule thing is really hurting us. 30, 40, 50 years ago, maybe it was something that people wanted. Right now, it's problematic. We got to share services. We have to unify school districts, particularly at a time period when our resources are under attack. We have to join with one another. You cannot, South Point's Maplewood shares most of their stuff. Princeton decided we're going to come together. That has to be a policy that happens statewide. We can't fund school districts for one school in it, right? And the schools are segregated because the communities are segregated, right? And so the two things that the state is saying that we have to do that we refuse to do is causing our taxes to go up. The state said, A, you have to desegregate schools, right? That's what they're saying. That's what the courts are saying. You can't have, New Jersey is the 6th most segregated state in the nation. So the school districts are segregated, and the courts are saying you have to desegregate. So what they're trying to do is build magnet schools around the state and bus people to these magnet schools that are going to be diverse. I think it's an okay idea, but it's going to create more problems than it solves. And we need to begin to invest in communities that figure out a way to make their school systems more diverse, right? The second thing that the state court said is that you need to build affordable housing, right? And because people aren't building housing in their communities, they have no children in those communities. And because there's no children in those communities, there's no children going to those schools. If there's no children going to schools, then you get less money from the state, and you have to pay more out of your taxes to finance that. If you take a place like Toms River, that's lost 4,000 students in the last 15 years, right? With the same infrastructure that it has, as prices go up, they're going to pay more. The problem is not that the state is giving more money to districts like Newark. The problem is the kids and the families aren't in your city anymore. You have not figured out a way to circulate kids. If your own children can't come back and move there because they can't afford it and raise their family there, then they're not sending their kids. They're not sending kids to these schools. The irony of that is a lot of these kids that are in these schools are maybe English language learners, and some of these people's politics don't want those kids in these schools, which is affecting their tax rate. Right? It's affecting their tax rate. They should be getting as many kids as they possibly can. And they're making the state pay them to have English language learners, to have kids with special needs, to have diversity in their school districts. And we have to stop funding schools by property taxes.
Wow.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That by itself is a problem. Because the people that live in the city don't necessarily look like the kids that go to the schools, economically. You're welcome.